My name is Greg Evans, and I am one of the owners of Chihenne Ranch, which runs the Black Range Camp. We not only run a full-service residency children's camp, horsemanship camp, we also, for the last 21 years, we've been running an accredited Boy Scout camp. I have been a Boy Scout, affiliated with the Boy Scouts of America for 55 years. And I have the Silver Beaver Award, and I have the District Award of Merit, and I have been running a Boy Scout camp for 21 years. The ranch goes from about 6,000 feet in elevation to over 8,500 feet in elevation. It's very rocky, it's very steep. We have most of our trees in the valleys, not on the mountains. We are one range east of the Continental Divide, which is heavily forested. In fact, you can ride to the Continental Divide in a day's time and back if you're on a good horse. On the ranch, we have turn of the century or before a lot of silver mines. We have 13 silver mines that we know about. Only 2 of them are really safe to go in. The rest are merely holes, and you know they're there. Then we have about 7 or 8 member Smuggy-owned Indian sites, the largest being one called LA 923, which was excavated by New Mexico State University. We built a lodge back several years after I became one of the owners of the ranch, okay? And this lodge is comfortable, although it's rustic. It has hot water, and of course, it has bathrooms and flush toilets, and we have all the accoutrements that you would have in any comfortable type facility. We are a mile in from a locked gate off of a county road, and so therefore we're very secluded. And you can go, we do a trail ride in the fall that we ride for 5 days, each day a different route, and each day we come back to the lodge, and we never go off the property. But we want other people to enjoy it too, just besides us. So that's why we invite guests from all over to come and live a little bit of the true wilderness life. The purpose of that trail ride is not only that there's a lot of friends that come, and they come from all over the United States, and it's older couples that do nothing but go around and take week-long trail rides, and we have a band that comes in every night and they dance, but we raise money by that. We have an auction, and the people are very generous in helping me to try to provide campership funds for the kids to be able to come to summer camp that can't afford it. I have never ever wanted to see a kid not be able to come to camp because they couldn't pay for it. And so we have tried to do that and has it been lucrative money-wise? No. It never will be, and nor can it be. But the enjoyment I have seen over the years is that I now have kids coming to camp. Their parents came to camp. And it's really kind of fun to see what was important to the parents, and hopefully the same things were important to the kids. One little thing that we do, we call it the long ride, and we take the kids into a mine and take them to the very back of this mine, and it's a very safe mine to go into. And there's bats in the mine, and there's all sorts of fun things. And we take them to the very back and let them experience what total blackness is. They can put their hand right in front of their face and they can't see a thing. And we want them to experience how quiet it is. And then we ask them to walk out on their own. The point being that we want them to realize how hard it is to break away from a group of friends that they had walked in there with their lights on, to be able to break away and go on their own. And we want to impress upon them that that's why it's so important in their lives to choose friends wisely. Well, at the present time, we do probably more youth. When I say children, we're talking about 18 and under. The scouting program is usually kids 13 to 18, and our horsemanship camp program is 8 to 16, and we do more children than we do adults. And you know, the adults, we just haven't. I would love to do groups of people that are experiencing the wanting to experience the ranch experience, and the rusticness of the ranch, and that being important to them, more so than the people that are expecting a bellhop and having the sheets turned down every morning and a little candy on the pillow. You know, we don't have that. Okay, we have in the lodge we have shared facilities. That is when I say shared, individual rooms but shared bathrooms and etc. So we're here for the program, not necessarily for the amenities. You know, sometimes people ask what it is that we like to do here, okay? And our number one is based on the kids, okay? And based on summer camp for the youth. And it started out basically as a horsemanship summer camp, but it immediately grew into a full service summer camp. And then we started out, even before the summer camp, doing Boy Scout High Adventure, okay? But the thing about that I've always wanted to do is I enjoy groups that are here for a purpose. And that purpose can be that's a corporate retreat and then we provide the facility for them to do it, and we provide the horses, or we provide team building or whatever it be. I'd much rather deal with people that are here as a group for a reason, such as family reunions, such as like next week we have a high school coming from Texas that is bringing their student council up here, and they'll be riding and they'll be shooting, and but the rest of the program will be their own, where they're teaching the kids about how to be student council members next year. And those are the kind of groups that I really like to get. I like people that are traveling the U.S. and want to see a little bit of New Mexico and see some of rural New Mexico. There's nothing more rural than, there's only one county more rural in the United States than Sierra County, New Mexico, and that's Catron County. And it is the last bastion of individuality and freedom. So it's kind of neat to be a part of that. So, we're in a unique area, and I like groups that are there for reasons, whether it be team building efforts, and we have programs for those too, you know, where we build confidence courses and we can do confidence things. But you know, I enjoy that more than people just looking to come up for, can we stay overnight, and you know, can I, you know, I'm coming by myself, can I just come up and stay overnight? That just doesn't usually fit into our program. I like people that put themselves together with a group and come up as a group. The question's been brought up to us a few times on, will we just lease the ranch out to someone for their own purposes? And we try and stay away from that part of the operation, because when you're at a ranch that we're 45 miles away from the nearest store of any form, really. There's a small store 7 or 8 miles away, or 6 miles away up in Winston, but if we need any parts of any sort, when we lease the ranch out, nothing is quite as it seems, you know. I mean, it's like all ranches in the West, you know, sometimes it takes a kick to get the door open, or a few other things, and so we try not to ever just turn the ranch over to an outside party. We're not, you know, I mean, if they wanted to come in with their own cook or something like that, that would be fine, but we don't just lease out the facility and say, have a good time, or at least we've never gotten into that. This is an ideal place to go quadding, okay, and to go four-wheeling. Now, sure, there's some tougher, more difficult trails on four wheels. But in quadding, this is about as extreme as it gets just on our ranch roads. Our ranch roads are very primitive. And when, in fact, we're in the process of negotiating now and getting a series of quads to be able to take people on quad trips, teach them how to ride quads, and then to take them on trips on quads, and returning back each night to the lodge where it's a comfortable setting. And I do a lot of quadding myself, and I find that nowhere outside of southern Utah is there as good a quadding as there is here. And I've been 800 miles of the 1,200 or 1,300 miles of the Paiute Trail in Utah, and there's nothing as good as this area for quadding, except for maybe the Paiute Trail in Utah. But it's just, you know, you jump off here and you can go and go and go. It's fantastic experience. So we like all, and at one time, we were going to host a motocross desert type enduro race, and we may still do that. We haven't done it yet, but that would be fun. Just staying on the ranch roads and not even leaving them is a very challenging course. We are fortunate here on the ranch that we have a very, very large resident deer population. New Mexico is not like the south of the United States or the Northeast or whatever, where you have a lot of small white-tailed deer. We have big mule deer out here, and we have a lot of resident deer. We have just a little bit of elk, but where the elk are, the deer aren't. Where the deer are, the elk aren't. So we're fortunate enough that we at least have a large population of deer. And in New Mexico, everything is a draw. That is, you have to draw to be able to hunt in a certain unit, except if you're hunting on private land. And we have enough private land that I can issue every year so many resident deer permits, and almost everybody that comes on the ranch shoots out with a nice kill, and it's good times. And we do those for both the rifle hunts. They're usually in November. We do them also for the bow hunts, which are in January. And we don't have that many customers that do muzzle loading, but we'd be happy to do it for them. We don't guide them, but we certainly go with them if they want us to. We've got some good friends that run an operation over in Santa Casia, New Mexico. And we've joined in with them several times, where they will bring groups of people that bringing their own horses, wanting the experience of their horse to ride in a little different and rougher terrain. And we'll put together cattle drives, we'll put together brandings, or we'll gather cattle and ship them, etc. And a lot of people can bring their own horses, and we provide the facility and for them to ride on that big trail ride that we do every year, the week-long trail ride. 95% of the people bring their own horses and bring their own trailers or rigs, etc., to sleep in. So it's we're kind of a full service. We'll many times we'll tailor our operations to I'll ask somebody, well, what's your budget? And then I say, well, I think I can do this for that, And we try and tailor it in, especially if it's a group looking for something fun to do. We're open year-round to do. Occasionally we'll get some relatively cold weather, but the beauty of the Southwest is that if it gets to 10 degrees at night or 15 degrees, which would be a very, very cold winter night, okay, it's going to warm up to 50. There's none of this 10 degrees and it warms up to 12, like you get in the Midwest or you get back east. If it's 10 at night, it's going to go up to 50 or high 40s or something during the day. Most of the time, our weather will be no hotter than somewhere in the 90s on the hottest day of the year. And then that day it'll still cool off into the high 50s or low 60s. So that's the weather in the summer versus the weather in the winter. Our prettiest time of year is the fall, when the grass is green, and when we've had our monsoon rains, because we get our rains in late summer and early fall is when we get the rains for the entire year. So spring is kind of dry, but it's always pretty weather. We have a little bit of wind. Summer is usually always very nice, and fall is by far the best season of the year. And winter is, if you're comparing it to Buffalo, New York, or you're comparing it to Missoula, Montana, it is fantastic weather.
This would be a great thing for just groups of friends to do, to just come out here, big birthday celebration, getaway weekend, a bunch of girls, bunch of guys, bunch of couples, to just have fun, get away, and see something that they don't see before, especially from different parts of the country.
Black Range Camp is awesome!